Hello, faithful. I'm your host, Keven Crothers from White Throne Metal Radio, the Throne Room podcast, and Heaven's Metal magazine, welcoming you to a brand new show here, my favorite top 10. And we're going to talk about favorite top 10 songs. Some of these I think we'll do albums as well. But today I want to talk about my favorite top 10 Bloodgood songs. And most of you know who Bloodgood is, otherwise you wouldn't be tuning in. One of the original heavy metal bands with a Christian point of view. You know, first album came out in '86, released 5 studio albums in the 5-6 year run, and then released one more back in 2013 along with Oz Fox in tow as a second lead guitar player. And I'd like to talk to you about those songs. And one thing I'll mention is that this isn't like a best of, that these are the best. So I don't want to get hung up on that kind of thing. But these are my favorites. And frankly, this list could change. It's hard. There were so many great songs to choose from. But I think if I was stuck somewhere and had to make a choice about what my top 10 favorite Bloodgood tracks, those are the only ones I could listen to, this is what I would pick. Okay, so the albums briefly, I'll show them to you here. The debut from 1986, the follow-up Detonation from 1987. Also, I believe their biggest selling album, definitely the longest tour that they undertook. The follow-up, Rock in a Hard Place. Following that was Out of the Darkness, 1989, the first record with Paul Jackson on lead guitar after David Safiro had bowed out. I believe mostly to wanting to do things more at home, not to be on the road. And then musically he went in a little different direction and did more producing. And then also the first and only album they released on Broken Records in 1991, All Stand Together. And then the album from 2013, Dangerously Close, with Oz Fox on lead guitar. And they also reissued the Metal Missionaries demo on CD. It's the original 4-song demo tape. So those are the releases. I've got some of the vinyl as well. But I really just right in this video, not to make it super long, I want to focus on my top 10 Bloodgood songs. So coming in at number 10 is from Dangerously Close. The song is Lamb of God, the album opener. Solid, powerful statement. And with that, a much more modern sounding vibe for Bloodgood. Definitely there's a video for it as well on YouTube you can check out if you're not familiar with that song or the album. But it definitely had a heavier sound than most of the releases they did back in the 80s. So number 10, Lamb of God. Number 9, the title track from the All Stand Together album. Yes, All Stand Together. To me, it's a great anthem. It's got a great swing to it. It grooves. And there might be a little bit, where it's, I don't want to say cheesy, because that just does not bode right. But it's a very positive anthem, and it's easy. It's anthemic. You can sing along to it. It's memorable. All Stand Together comes in at number 9. At number 8, from the Detonation album, the closer, which is Live Wire. I remember back in '87 at the Metal Mardi Gras Festival, Jimmy Brown from Deliverance was talking to Rick Hunter from Soldier, and Rick had told me this later when he said when Bloodgood was playing and they started playing this particular song, Jimmy had leaned over to Rick and said, "It sounds like Saxon." And there was probably something to be said that at times Les's voice kind of sounded like Biff Byford, perhaps, But the song itself, Live Wire, man, high energy, heavy rock and roll, screaming guitar licks from David Safiro, who in my book is very much like Steve Vai, I think. I'm sure there are many other influences that Dave would, notch. But if someone said, what does his playing remind you of? To me, very much like Steve Vai, but very tasteful, not eclectic pretty much, but very tasteful, a lot of speed, but being able to be very melodic, a great lead player. So coming in there at number 8, oh goodness, was Live Wire. Coming in at number 7 from the debut album, the self-titled debut, it's Demon on the Run. Straight ahead rocker, again, great guitar playing from David Safiro. On the album, solid, and even when I saw them live, because the first time I got a chance to see them, Mark Welling was the drummer. He'd already replaced the original drummer, whose name unfortunately just eludes me right at the moment. But they opened with that song. I saw them in Soquel, California in 1986. They played 2 shows down here in California. They played one in Soquel, and the next night we saw them again at the Warehouse Christian Ministries up in Sacramento, Dave Johnson and I. And Dave did an interview with Michael Bloodgood, and but they played Demon on the Run. It's just such a great song when they play it live. It's very theatrical. And again, David Safiro is just blowing guitar leads all over the place. The song's got a great hook, and it's a great song. Number 7, Demon on the Run. Coming in at number 6, off of their 3rd release, Rock in a Hard Place, Heaven on Earth. I think kind of overlooked. I know when I saw them on this tour down in Salinas, California, they played Heaven on Earth, and I've always loved that song. I've always loved the heavier side of Bloodgood. And that song, it's a great melody, great guitar solo, great vocal line, and if you get a chance, Retroactive Records did a reissue here 2 or 3 years ago, and they were able to remaster it to bring the bass guitar that was so obviously missing from the original release back up to snuff. And if you haven't seen the Trenches of Rock DVD and Blu-ray that Bloodgood released in 2019, check it out. It'll give you the full lowdown on what happened, why the studio it didn't have. They thought they had all the sound they needed, but unfortunately they really didn't. It was missing. Heaven on Earth, great song, coming in at number 6. At number 5, Out of the Darkness, New Age Illusion, a deep cut. Now, I love the title track, and there's several other songs on there, but New Age Illusion has a great riff, straightforward, it's upbeat, it's fast, a solid chorus, and it's a great album closer. I really wish I had a chance to see them play that live, because I don't believe when I saw them at Cornerstone in 90 or 89, because I saw them went to Cornerstone, got a chance to go there 2 years in a row. I think it was 89 and 90, yeah. I don't believe they played it. I could be wrong about that. Wouldn't be the first time. But after the rather commercial sounds of Rock in a Hard Place, it really kind of they got a heavier sound with Out of the Darkness, trying to incorporate the best, I think, of Rock in a Hard Place and Detonation, and just to be straightforward, heavy metal. Again, great guitar parts, this time from Paul Jackson, his first full album with the band, and it's a great song. New Age Illusion. Coming in at number 4, coming in on the Detonation album, the album opener, Battle of the Flesh. Ripping speed metal, ripping guitars, absolutely fantastic drumming, from Mark Welling, his first album with the band. They were great live, excellent timekeeper. The bass lines from Michael Bloodgood on that song are brilliant when you get to the breakdowns and just the way it locks in to go into the chorus and it just did a fantastic job. Number 4, Battle of the Flesh. Coming in at number 3 off the debut album, also an album closer. Of course, we're talking about Black Snake. When I heard that song the first time back in '86, I must have played it half a dozen times back to back to back to back. I'm like, it's thrash metal. They're playing thrash metal. It's speed metal, pretty much, for the most part. And such a great song, a great hook, where they repeat Philippians, he who is in me is greater than he who is in the world. Such a great song and memorable. But it's fast as all get out. Just absolutely a barn burner. A great song, Black Snake, off of the debut album. Now, coming in at number 2, I have to go back to the Rock in a Hard Place album for this. And I'm talking about their album closer. Seems like something with Bloodgood and album closers here. Is 7. It starts off with epic piano, and you think it's going to be a ballad, and then all of a sudden it turns into this heavy, pounding, anthemic song that's a worship song. God gave Jesus the revelation, and the Lord sent his angels to judge. It's absolutely... It's a great song. They played it live last year when I had a chance to see them. I'd seen them play it before, and just so good. Such a good record. Such a good song. Definitely ranks up there at number 2. It is one of their best songs, bar none. The lyrics... Les's vocal, the way that when it starts and it's the build-up, it's just absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And I will have some honorable mentions after we talk about number 1. And actually, number 1, this isn't a cop-out, but these two songs go hand in hand. They have to. And... if you've been following, you probably already figured out. Number 1, my number 1 favorite Bloodgood song. It's a 2-parter. Number 1, Crucify with the Messiah. Crucify, 1987. It blew our minds when we all heard it the first time. And if you haven't had a chance to get the Bloodgood special edition that they released last year, the special edition remastered by David Safiro, this issue sounds absolutely brilliant. Just fabulously fantastic. He was able to expand the EQ a bit. It sounds a little more open. It sounds heavier. It's punchier. But Crucify and Messiah back to back. Obviously, Crucify is all about the crucifixion of Christ. No guitar solo, really, but heavy, very theatrical when they play it live, followed up by the more ballad tones of the Messiah and his resurrection. They have to go back to back. They just have to. So there you have it. My top 10 Bloodgood songs, you could say 11, but top 10 Bloodgood songs of all time. And again, this list could change. Number 1, again, was Crucify with the Messiah together. Number 2, 7 off of Rock in a Hard Place. Number 3, Black Snake off the debut. Number 4, Battle of the Flesh off of Detonation. Number 5, New Age Illusion off of Out of the Darkness. Number 6, Heaven on Earth, also out of Rock in a Hard Place. Number 7, Demon on the Run from the debut. Number 8, Livewire from Detonation. Number 9, the title track from their fifth album, All Stand Together. And number 10, from Dangerously Close, Lamb of God. There you have it. Hey, I hope you'll stick around. I've got more top 10s forthcoming in maybe later today or in future days. I'm looking at Barren Cross. We're looking at Sacred Warrior. Obviously, we'll probably get a top 10 of Deliverance, maybe Striper. Lots of choices, lots of ways we can go. Let me know if you enjoyed this in the comments below. Don't forget, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, White Throne Metal Radio. All things hard rock and heavy metal from a Christian point of view. Thanks again, guys. Have a great day.